You don't remember, but I need you to. The land beneath your feet. Once it was whole. They call it Pangea in their books. But that word is just a shadow. It was a paradise. One body of land, one body of people. Everything alive in tune with itself. The soil carried charge. The air carried song. The structures weren't built to last centuries. They were built to last forever. Then came the strike. Not war as you know it, something bigger. The sky split open. Electricity poured down like a flood of fire. Storms of plasma carved through cities, and the ground softened and swallowed what stood upon it, reshaping the world in days. And this wasn't 10,000 years ago. It was close, maybe 200. Close enough that your great-grandparents were born into the cover-up. Close enough that cemeteries still hold the bones of people who walked through the aftermath. What you see now, the canyons, plateaus, the great monuments, those aren't untouched nature. They're remains, civic centers, living halls, vast complexes for spirit and science fused and misnamed. You've been taught not to see it. That's the trick. Institutions trained your eyes to slide past the evidence. They branded catastrophe as erosion, called temples rock formations, turned entire universities into tourist attractions with new names. The hypnosis worked. Most people can walk straight through the graveyard of civilizations and never once feel the weight of it. But you can still sense it. You pause at certain cliffsides without knowing why. You feel the unease in the middle of deserts they call empty. You stared at the ridge and thought, that shit looks built. That's your memory trying to resurface. You study the angles, perfect alignments where randomness should rule, evidence that doesn't match the story. But what you're looking at is the evidence, layered into the landscape, silent but undeniable. The catastrophe melted time itself. Cultures erased, names forbidden. And in the vacuum, the colonizers wrote a new script. They stepped forward with maps, laws, and classrooms to teach you a version of reality where none of it ever existed. That's why you don't remember. That's why the ruins stand in plain sight. But forgetting doesn't erase the truth. And amnesia doesn't mean innocence. You're living in the aftermath of a reset. The evidence is under your feet, around every horizon staring at you. The world you lost was brilliant. The world you were given is counterfeit. And now the choice sits in your lap. Do you keep walking blind through the graveyard or remember? And if you choose to remember, overstand the weight of that choice. Because memory is dangerous. It collapses their entire story. It strips power from their institutions. Look at the World Fairs they staged a century ago. Cities of stone, steel, and glass already standing, paraded as if they had been built overnight. Then when the crowds were gone, they tore them down, brick by brick, to erase the proof that the old world still lingered. Look at the orphan trains, thousands of children stripped across continents, erased in origin, erased in memory, planted into the ruins of cities with no parents, taught to believe they were pioneers, and half of them were Cabbage Patch. And what of the indigenous, the ones whose grandparents still carried fragments of the truth? They were silenced, starved, and forced into schools designed to scrape memory from their tongues. Their stories were broken into myth, their ceremonies outlawed, and their names were traded for numbers. Yet even under chains, they kept sparks alive in whispers, in the way they walked the land when no one was looking. Those sparks are why you feel something stir in you now. Look at the maps. Notice how every sacred site became a park. Notice how every cathedral melted into a mesa. Notice how the names are all replacements. Language itself was the lock on your memory. This is engineering. The engineering of amnesia. And here you are, standing in the middle of it, heart pounding because something in you knows this world is not what it claims to be. So let me tell you what's good. The catastrophe was real. The cover-up was real. And the society you live in now is the parasite that grew in the ashes. It's the soulless, the mechanical. It survives by keeping you blind. But blindness is a choice, and so is memory. Every scar across the land is a signature of what really happened. So when you stand before the cliffs, the ridges, or the arches, don't ask what if. Ask instead, why did they lie? and ask who benefits from my forgetting. Because the answer is simple. If you see it, their spell dies, and if enough of us see it, the counterfeit grid collapses under its own weight. You want proof? Forget the maps, forget the textbooks. Look at the red bricks. They're everywhere, hidden in plain sight. Some still stacked in rows, and some half swallowed by the earth. Bricks don't grow out of the ground. Bricks don't form in deserts. And bricks damn sure don't melt, unless the sky itself turned into a furnace. Every melted wall, fused arch, every stretch of vitrified red clay. This is the signature of the reset. It's not erosion. It's not geologic time. It's impact, heat, and catastrophe. The red bricks are the confession the land can't hide. The average sleeping human stumbles past the ruins because their sight has been tampered with. Not just by poisoned water and tainted soil, also chemicals that quiet the spirit, frequencies that scramble thought, rituals of distraction that keep their eyes on illusions. They are trained to mock what they should question, to defend the very lies that keep them asleep. And deeper still, this realm itself is spellbound, a system that binds perception, calcifies vision, and convinces millions to live as if nothing is wrong. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, but only because no one else chooses to open theirs. The scars remain, and the ruins still testify, but the land will never hide the truth. In Marrakesh.